Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Alyssa Paldo. State Farm is cutting nearly 900 jobs at its location in Bloomington. The cuts are part of what the company is calling ongoing restructuring of its IT department. Over the past few weeks, State Farm has notified its employees of the significant job cuts. Last fall, the company started realigning its IT department, going from 3 departments to just 1. State Farm recently announced they plan to transfer 280 of those jobs to other State Farms across the U.S. The company says in all they plan to cut about 500 non-management IT positions. State Farm plans to keep about 15,000 employees in their Bloomington location. State Farm released a statement saying, quote, "This effort will better serve customers, increasing expectation for simpler, faster, technology-driven ways to do business within our company." State Farm also says they recently added 300 positions to their claims department in Bloomington. The company says affected employees will be able to relocate or transfer to other departments. State Representative Dan Brady reacted to the State Farm layoffs. In a statement, he says, quote, "I am very disappointed to hear about the job cuts planned by State Farm at its headquarters here in Bloomington. Obviously, hundreds of local families depend upon those jobs and will be facing uncertainty." President Trump is looking to fill another key position in the West Wing. Chief Economic Advisor Gary Cohn is leaving after he failed to persuade the president not to go through with imposing new trade tariffs on imported steel and aluminum. Weijia Jiang has more details from the White House.
Gary Cohn, President Trump's top economic advisor, is leaving the White House.
We've done a lot of incredible things when it comes to building the economy, creating jobs, and making the job and economic market stronger and better, and we're going to keep focusing on that.
Cohn's biggest accomplishment was helping push the president's tax cut plan through Congress, but he lost the argument over imposing new tariffs on steel and aluminum.
It's tough. I like conflict. I like having two people with different points of view, and I certainly have that, and then I make a decision.
But that kind of confrontational workplace can be hard for some to navigate, and this White House has seen far more turnover than previous administrations. The president says the White House is a great place to work and not at all chaotic.
I read where, oh, gee, maybe people don't want to work for Trump, and believe me, everybody wants to work in the White House.
But at least 24 high-level staffers have quit or been fired during the president's time in the Oval Office, 6 in the last month alone, leaving plenty of vacancies.
So many people want to come in. I have a choice of anybody. I could take any position in the White House, and I'll have a choice of the 10 top people having to do with that position.
The president tweeted last night we'll be making a decision soon on the appointment of new chief economic advisor. Many people wanting the job will choose wisely. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, the White House.
Names being mentioned as possible replacements include White House trade advisor Peter Navarro, former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh, and CNBC personality Larry Kudlow. Bloomington's top cop could trade in his badge for a new shield. President Trump is calling on Chief Brendan Hefner to serve as the United States Marshal in the Central District of Illinois. Hefner has been chief since 2013. In a statement, Hefner said, quote, "While I'm honored to have received this nomination, it still must be voted on and approved by the Senate." In a joint statement, Congressman Darren LaHood and Rodney Davis said, quote, "It is our belief that he will make an excellent U.S. Marshal and serve our country well, just as he served the Bloomington Normal community and the state of Illinois for more than 30 years. Chief Hefner is an exemplary officer who started as a patrolman and rose through the ranks because of his love of service and dedication to the protection of our community." Meantime, 3 police officers in Clinton, Missouri were shot late last night. One has died. Police say they got a 911 call from a home in which the phone line was left open and 2 women were heard screaming. 3 officers responding to the scene were shot. The shooter was found dead inside the home. Back here at home, a story from our Capitol newsroom. According to the State Board of Education, more than 1,000 teaching positions are vacant. More than 80% are in areas with a majority of low-income students. Several bills are being introduced in the House to attract teachers from out of state, allow paraprofessionals to renew their license for free, and to allow military officers and their spouses to get a temporary license for up to 3 years while waiting for approval from the state's Department of Professional Regulation.
Years we had a shortage in math and science areas. Now it's all the way through elementary education and everything. So we've got to do something before it gets totally out of hand.
Error says she and other lawmakers are working on more initiatives to resolve the teacher shortage. The director of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs says a long-term plan to fix Legionnaire's outbreak at a state veterans home will be done by May 1st. A hearing was held in Chicago yesterday. It was the fourth time lawmakers have met to discuss the deadly outbreak at the Quincy Veterans Home. 13 veterans have died and dozens more have gotten sick since 2015. A new report suggests tearing down several buildings on the campus. There are claims officials tried to hide information from the public and calls for the director of public health to resign. One man is dead after a fire at a home in Astoria yesterday morning. The Fulton County coroner says it happened in a mobile home on Logan Street. The man, who is in his late 80s, died at the scene and has not been identified. The man investigators say caused a shutdown at the Peoria International Airport last month is now facing charges. A grand jury indicted Justin Deemy of Peoria on criminal damage to government-supported property and other charges. Deemy is accused of breaking into a home, stealing a vehicle, and going to the airport, where investigators say he broke into a secured area and boarded a plane before trying to steal a squad car. The Journal-Star reports prosecutors say Deemy was under the influence of drugs. He claims he feared a zombie apocalypse. Deemy remains in the Peoria County Jail on $500,000 bond, pending his arraignment Thursday morning. He faces up to 30 years in prison. Well, a local restaurant in East Peoria has shut its doors. Applebee's on Riverside Drive is currently closed. No word on why. Last month, the chain's parent company said it would close 80 restaurants this year, on top of the 100 it closed last year. There's a pair of new additions at Miller Park Zoo in Bloomington. They're making us Central Illinois proud. The zoo's North American river otters, Tallulah and Ozzie, welcomed 2 male pups last month. They'll be on display later this month once they develop further and learn to swim. The opportunity to name the pups will be auctioned off at Zoo Doo in September.